Welcome to the world of science fiction stories, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe my channel. Enjoy the listening. Captain James stood tall as he entered the Great Hall of the Galactic Council. The massive room held representatives from over 200 alien species. Some had scales, others had tentacles. Some floated in special tanks, others towered 3 times his height. As the human ambassador, James had attended many meetings here, but today felt different. The air seemed heavy with tension. The Council recognizes Captain James of Earth, announced the head speaker, a blue-skinned being with 4 arms. James nodded and took his seat at the curved table. He noticed several empty chairs and whispered to his friend TK, a reptilian diplomat, "Where is everyone?" Trick leaned close. "Many left early this morning, no explanation." Before James could ask more, his wrist device buzzed. It was a message from Lieutenant Marcus aboard their ship, the Harmony. "Captain, strange energy readings across the galaxy. Something big is happening." James frowned. That's when the chamber's main screen flashed to life without warning. The image showed Earth, beautiful and blue, spinning peacefully in space. Then it happened. A strange darkness touched Earth's surface, not like a shadow, more like a hole in reality itself. It spread quickly, eating the planet like a hungry beast. In less than 20 seconds, where Earth had been, there was now nothing, not debris, not dust, just empty space. The council erupted in chaos. "What did you do?" someone screamed at James. "That's Earth," James shouted back, his face pale with shock. "That's my home." His device buzzed again, more urgently. With shaking hands, James opened the screen to see Marcus' terrified face. "Captain, it's not just Earth. All human colonies are being hit. New Mars is gone, Titan base gone, it's everywhere." The chamber's screens now showed multiple feeds from across the galaxy, planet after planet, station after station. Anywhere humans lived, all disappearing in that same terrible way. Billions of lives vanishing before their eyes. "Who is doing this?" James demanded, rising to his feet. "Stop this now." The head speaker's voice trembled. We just received a message." The main screen changed. A being appeared, or rather many beings moving as one. They looked like liquid metal formed into a rough humanoid shape, constantly shifting and flowing. "We are the Void Collective," it said in a voice that seemed to come from everywhere at once. "We have removed the human aberration from existence. Their unpredictable nature threatened the proper order of the universe. We have corrected this mistake." James lunged toward the screen. "Bring them back, they were innocent people." The being showed no emotion. "You cannot bring back what never existed. Humans have been erased from the universal equation. The few remaining will soon follow." The screen went dark. The council chamber fell silent. All eyes turned to James. He stood frozen, trying to process what he had just witnessed, his entire species, nearly 20 billion souls, gone in minutes. "The Harmony," he whispered, then louder, "I need to get to my ship." As James turned to leave, 2 large guards blocked his path. The head speaker stood. "I am sorry, Captain James. The Council has voted. All remaining humans must be surrendered to the Void Collective. We cannot risk opposing them." "You voted while I watched my people die." James couldn't believe what he was hearing. "You're giving us up to be murdered." "The Collective has proven its power," said a thin gray alien. "If they can erase Earth, they can erase any of our worlds. We must comply." James backed away, reaching slowly for the small weapon hidden under his uniform. "I will not let my species end today." A voice called out from the back of the chamber. "The human is escaping." James ran. His diplomatic training hadn't prepared him for this, but the military training before that had. He fired his weapon at the ceiling, causing a shower of sparks and smoke. In the confusion, he sprinted down a service corridor. His wrist device lit up with Marcus's face. "Captain, where are you?" "Running to the ship," James panted. "The council has turned on us. Are we ready for launch?" "Yes, but you need to hurry. I'm picking up military vessels powering up in the docking bays." James pushed himself harder, ignoring the burning in his lungs. When he finally reached the Harmony's docking bay, he saw his small crew waiting anxiously by the entrance. "Get inside," he shouted, "now." The 6 humans scrambled aboard as alarms blared throughout the station. James sealed the door behind him and rushed to the bridge. "Marcus, get us out of here." The young lieutenant's fingers flew across the control panel, breaking dock clamps, powering engines. The Harmony shuddered as it pulled away from the station. On the screens, they could see Council security ships beginning to pursue. Jump to light speed as soon as we clear the gravity well, James ordered. As they accelerated away, James finally had a moment to face what had happened. His hands began to shake uncontrollably. Earth was gone, his family, his friends, his home, everything. Captain Marcus said quietly, I managed to save something. James looked up. What? When the attack started, I recorded all incoming data streams from Earth, the final moments. I have the patterns of the eraser weapon. Maybe it could help us understand what happened. For the first time since the attack, James felt a tiny spark of hope. Can you analyze it? Marcus nodded. I'll try. In the ship's common area, the small crew gathered. They were the last humans anyone knew about. A diplomat, an engineer, a doctor, a pilot, a communications specialist, and a science officer. 6 people from a species of billions. There must be others, said Dr. Laura, wiping tears from her face. Deep space missions, remote outposts. If there are, they're being hunted now, James said. We need to find them before the Council does. On the main screen, they watched Council ships spreading out, beginning their search. What do we do, Captain? Asked Pilot Ray. Where do we go? James looked at each of them, the last free humans as far as he knew. Their faces showed fear, grief, and shock, but also something else, determination. We survive, James said firmly. We find others, we learn what this erasure really is. His voice grew stronger. And then we make the Void Collective regret the day they woke humanity's fury. Marcus looked up from his data screen. Captain, I'm detecting a faint distress signal. It's using an old Earth frequency. Where? Mining Belt Alpha 7, it's definitely human. James nodded. Plot a course, stay away from main routes. As the Harmony vanished into light speed, James made a silent promise to his vanished world. This was not the end of humanity. It was just the beginning of its most important fight. The Void Collective thought they had erased humans from the universe. They were about to learn they had only created a monster. 3 years had passed since the day humanity was erased. The mining asteroid that Dr. Eleanor called home was cold and dark, but it kept her people alive. Hidden deep in the abandoned belt, their small base was easy to miss on scanners. Eleanor stood in the makeshift lab she had built from salvaged parts. Once she had been a top physicist on Earth. Now she was one of the few humans left in the galaxy, trying to understand the weapon that had destroyed her world. Any progress? Tom asked as he entered the lab. The former military officer had deep lines on his face that hadn't been there 3 years ago. He had been visiting family on Earth when it vanished. Some, Eleanor said, pointing to her screen. Marcus data shows the eraser wasn't what we thought. Look at these energy patterns. Tom squinted at the complex diagrams. What am I seeing? The Void Collective didn't destroy our worlds, they moved them. Eleanor's eyes lit up with the fire of discovery. They pushed everything into another dimension, a parallel space. Tom's breath caught. You mean Earth still exists? Everyone is still alive. Possibly, but in a place we can't reach or see. Eleanor ran her hand through her gray-streaked hair. The door slid open again, and young Anna walked in. At just 22, she had been born on a colony and had a natural talent for understanding alien technology. Scout ship is back, Anna said. They found something. In the base's control room, about 30 humans gathered around a small holographic display. They were all that remained of Eleanor's group, scientists, engineers, and civilians who had escaped the purge. The scout ship pilot, a thin man named Riley, stood next to the display. We were checking the abandoned fuel station in Sector 12 when we picked up a distress signal. Another human group was under attack by Council ships. The display showed grainy footage of a firefight between ships. A small transport vessel was trying to escape 3 larger Council cruisers. Did they make it? Someone asked. Riley nodded. We helped create a diversion. They're following us here now. Eleanor exchanged worried looks with Tom. More survivors meant more hope, but also more risk of discovery. An hour later, the transport ship docked at their hidden base. The doors opened to reveal 12 haggard humans. Most were injured, all looked like they had been running for a long time. A tall man with a scarred face stepped forward. I'm David, former Earth intelligence. Thanks for the rescue. After the newcomers were given food and medical attention, David met with Eleanor and Tom in the command center. We've been gathering information on the Void Collective, David explained. They're planning something big. What do you know about the eraser technology? Eleanor asked. David's eyes widened. You know about that, we've been trying to understand it ourselves. Earth wasn't destroyed, Eleanor said. It was phased into another dimension. David nodded slowly. That matches what we found, and there's more. He pulled out a small device and placed it on the table. The collective is building a phase generator that will seal the barrier between dimensions permanently. Once activated, there will be no way to bring Earth back. How long do we have? Tom asked. 6 months, maybe less. Eleanor felt her stomach sink. We need more time. I'm still trying to understand the basic principles of the technology. Time is the one thing we don't have, David said grimly. And we're not the only humans left. There are reports of a ship called the Harmony that's been raiding Council supply depots. Captain named James. Tom straightened. James from Earth Diplomatic, he's alive. Before David could answer, alarms blared throughout the base. Anna's voice came over the speaker system. Ship approaching, not one of ours. Everyone rushed to battle stations. The base had minimal defenses, relying mainly on staying hidden. The communications officer called out, "They're hailing us. It's the Harmony." On the main screen, Captain James's face appeared. He looked older, harder than 3 years ago. A scar ran down one side of his face. "This is Captain James of the Harmony. We need emergency docking. We have wounded and we're being pursued." "Open the bay doors," Eleanor ordered. Minutes later, the Harmony limped into the asteroid's hidden hangar. As the crew disembarked, James spotted Tom and embraced him like a brother. "I thought everyone from the diplomatic corps was gone," James said. "I was the only one off-planet when it happened," Tom explained. Eleanor approached them. "Captain, I'm Dr. Eleanor. This is our base." James nodded respectfully. "We've been searching for survivor groups for years. The Council almost caught us this time." "They're getting better at tracking us," added Lieutenant Marcus, who followed behind James. He was carrying a portable computer system. "But we found something important." Inside the base's command center, the group shared their discoveries. Marcus showed the data he had been collecting on the phase technology, while Eleanor explained her theories. "So Earth still exists," James thought, his voice tight with emotion. "Everyone might still be alive in another dimension." "Yes," Eleanor confirmed. "And David here says the Void Collective is building a device to make the separation permanent." James turned to David. "How do you know this?" "We intercepted their communications," David explained. "My team has been tracking their movements. The phase generator will be activated in less than 6 months." The room fell silent as everyone absorbed this information. Finally, Anna spoke up. "So we need to build our own device, something that can reverse the phase and bring Earth back." Eleanor nodded slowly. "Theoretically possible, but we'd need materials we don't have, components that only exist in Council space." James's expression hardened. "Then we'll get them?" Tom asked. "There are only about 50 of us here and maybe a few thousand humans left across the galaxy. We're outnumbered by billions." "Numbers aren't everything," James said. "The Council fears us because they think we'll seek revenge once we learn the truth. They're right to be afraid." Eleanor studied the captain's face. "You're suggesting we fight back against the entire Council." "Not the entire Council," David interjected. "There are factions. Some species disagreed with the decision to surrender humans to the collective." "And there are stories," Marcus added, "of an ancient species called the Runners who might help us. They've stayed neutral in galactic politics for millennia, but they're said to possess technology beyond anything the Council has." James looked around the room at the gathered humans, scientists, soldiers, engineers, and civilians. All that remained of a species that once populated thousands of worlds. "For 3 years we've been running and hiding," he said. "It's time we fought back. Together we have the knowledge to build a device that could save our people. We have 6 months to find the materials, construct it, and bring humanity home." "I'm in," Anna stood straighter. One by one, the others voiced their agreement. Even those who had been content to hide now saw a glimmer of hope. As the meeting broke up, Eleanor noticed something strange. Anna was staring intensely at a blank wall, her hand reaching out as if touching something invisible. "Anna, what is it?" The young woman blinked, looking confused. "I thought I saw. It's hard to explain. For a second it was like I could see through the wall into somewhere else, somewhere with a blue sky." Eleanor and Marcus exchanged concerned looks. Neither said what they were thinking. that perhaps the phase boundary between dimensions wasn't as solid as they thought, and maybe, just maybe, humanity was already finding ways to fight back from the other side. Eleanor's lab was busier than ever. For 2 weeks straight, she had worked with Marcus and Anna to design what they called a phase anchor, a device that could potentially pull Earth back from the other dimension. The math works, Eleanor said, pointing to her calculations. But we need special materials to build it. This crystal here is only found on Council worlds. Captain James studied the list of required materials. Most of these will be nearly impossible to get. Then we need help, Tom said. What about those runners that Marcus mentioned? Marcus looked up from his computer. They're hard to find. Most people think they're just a legend. Do you believe they exist? James asked. I do, Marcus said. When I was analyzing the phase data, I found energy patterns that match old stories about runner technology. They understand dimensions better than anyone. James made his decision. Then we find them. Tom, David, Anna, you'll come with me on the Harmony. Eleanor and Marcus will stay here to keep working on the anchor design. Later that night, as Anna packed for the journey, she felt a strange tingling in her fingers. It had been happening more often lately. Sometimes when it happened, she saw flashes of another place, a world with blue skies and green fields. Was she seeing Earth in the other dimension? She hadn't told anyone except Eleanor, who had run tests but found nothing wrong with her. Ready for tomorrow? Tom asked, appearing in her doorway. Anna nodded. Do you really think we'll find these runners? I don't know, Tom admitted, but lately I've been different, he lowered his voice. During the last council attack, I knew exactly where they would come from before they appeared. I can't explain it. Anna stared at him. I've been experiencing strange things too. Do you think it's happening to other survivors? Maybe we should ask around. The next morning, the Harmony left the asteroid base. James followed the few clues they had about the runners, old space tailies, strange sightings, and unusual energy readings Marcus had detected. For days, they traveled through dangerous territory, avoiding council patrols. Tom's newfound ability to sense enemy movements kept them safe more than once. On the 7th day, as they passed through an uncharted nebula, Anna suddenly grabbed the ship's controls. Stop, we need to go there, she pointed to what looked like empty space. There's nothing there, David said. Trust me, Anna insisted, I can see it. James hesitated, then nodded. Change course. As they approached the area Anna had indicated, the ship's instruments began to malfunction. Then, without warning, a hidden passage opened in the nebula. It revealed a path to what looked like a small planet made entirely of crystal. How did you know? James asked Anna. She shook her head, looking as surprised as everyone else. I just saw it. The ship landed on a flat crystal plain. The air was breathable but strangely heavy. As they stepped outside, tall crystal structures rose from the ground, forming a path. They're expecting us, David whispered. At the end of the path stood a being unlike any they had seen before. It was shaped roughly like a human, but made entirely of translucent crystal that shifted colors as it moved. When it spoke, its voice seemed to come from everywhere at once. The lost children have found us, how interesting. James stepped forward. I am Captain James of Earth. Are you one of the runners? We are the runners. I am called Guide. We have been watching you for a long time, humans. We need your help, James explained. Our world was phased into another dimension by the Void Collective. The crystal being pulsed with blue light. We know, the collective fears what they cannot predict, and humans are very unpredictable. Guide led them into a large crystal structure. Inside, the walls showed moving images of human history, ancient civilizations, modern cities, space colonies. You have been watching us, Tom said. Yes, you interest us, Guide replied. Most species evolve in predictable ways. Their bodies change to suit their environments, their technology advances along set paths, but humans, you evolve here. Guide touched its crystalline head. In our minds, Anna asked. In your consciousness, you create art that serves no survival purpose. You form emotional bonds that defy rational explanation. You imagine things that do not exist, and then you make them real. The crystal walls now showed images of human art, music, and relationships. The Void Collective fears this unpredictability, Guide continued. They were created long ago by a species that valued perfect order above all else. Humans represent chaos to them. Can you help us build a device to bring our people back? James asked. Perhaps, but first you should understand what is happening to you. Guide turned to Anna. You can see the phase boundary between dimensions, can't you? Anna nodded, surprised. How did you know? And you, Guide looked at Tom, can sense patterns before they form. These abilities are not random. The crystal walls now showed DNA strands, glowing and changing. The genocide has awakened something within you, Guide explained. Humans have faced extinction many times in your history. Each time your species adapted, not through normal evolution, which takes thousands of generations, but through consciousness-driven changes. Are you saying we're evolving right now? David asked. Yes, the threat of extinction has triggered dormant potential in your DNA. The very thing the Void Collective feared, your adaptability, is being enhanced by their attempt to destroy you. Anna looked at her hands, which were tingling again. That's why I could see your planet when our instruments couldn't. Guide nodded, and why Tom can anticipate enemy movements. Why Eleanor's theoretical models have become more intuitive. Why Marcus can understand alien technology more easily now. James tried to process this information. Will this happen to all surviving humans? It is already happening. Different humans will develop different abilities based on their needs and roles. The monster the Void Collective feared is being born from their very attempt to destroy it. Guide led them to a chamber deep inside the crystal structure. At its center floated a small glowing object. This is a dimensional key, Guide said. It will help you obtain the materials you need for your phase anchor. With it, you can open hidden pathways to council worlds. James accepted the key carefully. Thank you, but why help us? Guide's colors shifted to a deep purple. The universe needs balance, order and chaos, predictability and surprise. Without humans, something vital would be lost. As they prepared to leave, Guide spoke privately to Anna. Your connection to the other dimension is growing stronger. Soon, you may be able to communicate with those trapped there. Anna's eyes widened. You mean I could contact Earth? Perhaps the human consciousness is adapting in both dimensions. Together, you may create a bridge that even we runners cannot fully understand. Back on the Harmony, the crew set course for Council space, using the dimensional key to plot their path. What Guide said about us evolving, Tom said as they gathered in the ship's common area. I've noticed other changes too. My reflexes are faster. I can process information more quickly. It explains why Eleanor has been making such rapid progress on the phase anchor, James added, and why Anna could find the runners. David looked thoughtful. If this is happening to all survivors, we're becoming something new, something more than we were. Anna stared out at the stars. The Void Collective wanted to erase humanity from the universe. Instead, they forced us to evolve into something stronger. James nodded, and now we take the fight to them. Next stop, Council space. As the Harmony accelerated toward its destination, none of them noticed the faint glow emanating from Anna's hands. A glow that matched the exact frequency of the phase boundary between dimensions. With the dimensional key from the runners, the Harmony entered Council space undetected. Captain James studied the holographic map showing their target, a heavily guarded research facility on the edge of tidal space. According to our intelligence, David said, pointing to the facility, the special crystals we need are stored in the central vault. Security will be tight. How do we get in? Tom asked. James smiled grimly. We don't look human anymore. Hours later, 3 figures approached the facility's main entrance. Thanks to holographic disguises provided by the runners, they appeared as tidal officials, tall, blue-skinned beings with gills along their necks. Tom led the way, his new ability to sense danger guiding them past security checkpoints. Anna and James followed, carrying official-looking data tablets. Remember, James whispered, we have 20 minutes before the disguises fail. They passed through the main security gate without incident. Inside, the facility buzzed with activity as Council scientists worked on various projects. The vault is 2 levels down, David said through their earpieces from the ship. Take the service lift at the end of the corridor. As they walked, Anna suddenly froze. Wait, something's wrong. Her fingers tingled with that now familiar sensation. A moment later, alarms blared throughout the facility. They know we're here, Tom said, his face pale. I can feel them coming from both directions. This way, Anna grabbed their arms and pulled them toward what looked like a solid wall. She pressed her hand against it, and to everyone's surprise, a hidden door slid open. "How did you?" James began. "I can see things others can't now," Anna said. "The phase boundary shows me hidden paths." They hurried through the secret passage and found themselves in a maintenance tunnel that led downward. "This might take us to the vault level," James said. As they descended, Tom suddenly pushed them against the wall. "Guards coming." They held their breath as a patrol passed by without noticing them. When they finally reached the vault level, they faced a new problem. "The door requires special access," James said. "We need a council high clearance code. We don't have time to hack it." Anna stepped forward, her hands now glowing faintly blue. "Let me try something." She placed her palms against the security panel. The blue glow spread from her fingers into the machine. For a moment, nothing happened. Then the panel flashed green and the vault door slid open. "How did you do that?" James asked, amazed. "I don't know exactly," Anna admitted. "It's like I can feel the energy patterns and redirect them." Inside the vault, they quickly located the crystals they needed. As James carefully packed them into a special container, a voice spoke from behind them. "I knew humans would come for these eventually." They spun around to face a tall tidal being, not a hologram but real. James reached for his weapon, but the tidal raised its webbed hands. "I am not here to stop you. I am Minister Lux of the Tidal Inner Council. My people voted against surrendering humans to the Void Collective." "Why are you helping us?" Tom asked suspiciously. "Because the balance of our galaxy is wrong without humans," Lux said. "Many council species regret what happened but fear the collective too much to act openly." The minister handed James a data chip. "This contains information about the Void Collective you should know. They are not what they appear to be." Suddenly Tom tensed. "We need to go now. A large security force is heading this way." As they hurried back toward the maintenance tunnel, Lux pointed to another direction. "Take the research transport tube. It leads directly to the landing platforms. I will delay them." "Thank you," James said. "Restore the balance," Lux replied simply. The transport tube shot them upward at dizzying speed. When they emerged on the landing platform, Council security forces were already gathering. "The ship is 2 minutes out," David said through the communicator. "You need to hold position." "We won't last 2 minutes," Tom shouted as energy weapons fired in their direction. Anna stepped forward, her entire body now glowing with blue light. She raised her hands toward the approaching guards and something extraordinary happened. The air between them seemed to waver and bend. The guards' weapons malfunctioned, and several of them stumbled backward as if hitting an invisible wall. James stared at her in shock. "I can manipulate the phase boundary," she said, her voice strained, "but not for long." The Harmony appeared overhead, lowering its ramp as it hovered above the platform. James and Tom jumped aboard, Anna following last as her strength began to fail. As they escaped into space, James inserted the data chip from Minister Lux into the ship's computer. What they learned stunned them all. "The Void Collective isn't a natural species," David said as they reviewed the data. "They're an artificial intelligence created thousands of years ago by an extinct race called the Architects. They were programmed to maintain cosmic order at any cost," Tom read from the screen. "And they identified human unpredictability as the greatest threat to that order. So a computer program decided to erase our entire species?" James asked, his voice tight with anger. "A sentient program," David corrected. "But yes. And according to this, their phase generator is almost complete. We have less time than we thought, only 3 weeks before activation." Back at the asteroid base, they delivered the crystals to Eleanor. Her face lit up when she saw them. "These are perfect. With these and the runner technology, I can complete the phase anchor." Marcus examined the data about the Void Collective. "This changes our approach. AI systems, even advanced ones, follow logical patterns. They can be predicted and potentially manipulated." "The final confrontation is coming," James said. "We need to be ready."